Alright, so this is my PB run in Filament, any percent, 56 minutes, 29 seconds, RTA. I ran this back in September, about mid-September, so about a month ago. I figured I would go ahead and record this for the sake of just talking about my process learning this game. I did this without a mic.
Minimum distance of
I'm gonna wait until this is done to continue.
Rerouting trajectory. Approaching vessel. Docking request pending. Override acknowledged. Please click all the images containing an asteroid. Docking procedure initialized. 3, 2, 1. Docking complete. Welcome to your destination.
Alright, so we were able to get a bit of a faster start there, thanks to a weird thing with this game where if you select the save file rather than select continue, it just loads in faster. That is one of many tricks that are outlined on the game's speedrun.com page. Really interesting stuff that this game does as far as file saving and things like that. I should explain why this run was done offline and without a mic. Normally I like to stream my runs online and with a mic, a lot of reasons for that, but in this particular case I had done a PB attempt to get sub-hour. I think I was about 5 minutes ahead going into the... I don't remember if this one was 5 minutes or another several minute kind of situation like that. But I was several minutes ahead, and I soft locked the game. I finished the last puzzle. The door, the final door was just open and chilling, and my character just never moved. He just refused to do anything. So I don't know exactly why that happens. It is a known error in the game, but it is just a weird thing that happened. I don't exactly understand. I'm gonna take a quick look here. So
what do you know? You're a natural. Looks to me like you shut it down entirely, which makes a lot of sense now that I think. Never imagined how much the anchors would mess with the ship's systems when the others installed them.
I don't know. I
They
thought
really fried some circuits down
that I
there,
hadn't, but maybe I don't. In any case, I was several minutes ahead. I ran into this issue where the game soft locked, and I had to reset. And so I was so frustrated by this that I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do an offline run later in the day, and just really focus up and get it done. And this PB was much bigger than that one would have been.
Let me grab those doors for you.
So I really appreciated the SRC page for all the info that it provided.
Feeling you weren't going to tell me yours, so I just have to give you one.
The reason that we kind of reset at the beginning of the game, basically, you activate a walkie-talkie and then immediately just save and quit and delete your file, is that you can skip a bunch of dialogue that would stop you from activating the next area.
Red and blue.
So we do that, then you also do that to skip a conversation.
But those are taken, and with all due respect, you've got
so basically finishing that last set of puzzles that I finished.
When I was a kid, I used to love this book. I would read it over.
I was able to finish all 5 puzzles.
The main character was Pluto, a socially inept bear with a can-do attitude.
Finished her overview of the problem and explaining, hey, you helped me out, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I like it.
By the time she finishes that, that's when the door opens to get to the last set of puzzles that I finished, but we finished it before she even finished what all she was saying. So that's a pretty cool trick. Everything's really well documented for this game in terms of how much time is saved by doing all those save loads, things like that. I opted not to do all of them or to learn where they all were. The main reason for that is I found it a little hard to tell how much time they saved RTA. They still have a lot of in-game time, which is what the speedrun leaderboard is based on, which makes sense. Load times with modern games will kind of affect a lot of things in terms of how quickly you can do the game. So if there's an IGT that is reasonably accurate, or if you can set up a auto splitter to track time without loads, that's great. In this case, that is what they do. They have an auto splitter, which I'm using in this run, to split every puzzle. Otherwise, I'd be using my foot splitter just all the time and just be miserable. And you'll notice occasionally the white timer that is below, or the lower of the two big timers on my live split there. That one will pause occasionally. So that is because the auto splitter is doing what it's supposed to do. So like there, that 43 second I think lasted quite a long time. So you can see here my run is still very much not quite figured out. You know, I lose a lot of time here just because I'm like, I have no idea what to do on this puzzle. If you put me in front of this puzzle right now, I would probably remember what to do, especially better than I seem to be doing right now. So finishing this puzzle, it's kind of an interesting one. Just you have to do a lot of really intense back and forth. It is not the only puzzle like that, of course. You know, looking at my timer, clearly lost about 7 seconds total in this set of puzzles so far. So that's not great. Also see me bonking on stuff a lot. Kind of talk about the way that I ended up learning this game. I basically did not play this at all casually. I just learned the puzzles that I needed to learn, and obviously did not know which way to go there.
So allow me to put you at ease.
And the way I did that, and the way I kept track of, you know, what puzzles to do and completing them, I basically downloaded the images for each puzzle solution because Smongo and Bowden had done a good job of documenting those and keeping track of them, sharing ideas and modifying them as they learn more. So I downloaded the images for all the puzzles. There were a lot of them, you know, almost 200 puzzles in any percent. And I put them in order in a file. The way I put them in order was just added the number of the puzzle in front of the name. So it would be like 1 intro 1 1, 2 intro 1 2, or something to that effect. And then I loaded those up on my laptop.
Having been here all but a
I had my
single
laptop,
work,
this
you're already
run, I
making
had
far
my
more
laptop
sense of
on
these
my
anchors than I
right,
ever did.
which
This kind of
required
thing
me to
was
have
really
kind of
my
my
area of
right hand
expertise.
on the
It wasn't
laptop and
helping
my
me
left
pilot
hand
my
on
ship.
my
Wanted
PC
nothing to do
keyboard,
with it.
which was not ideal, so
The best
I ended up
attitude
switching
that I
it so that when
tell
I
you the
did
truth,
this
I'm
for
still not sure what
Speedromizer
these
2,
things do.
I had my
I went to stop
laptop
some spike
on my
some
left
graph
side.
that I'm told was
I
important.
had it connected
The minor side
to
effect that literally all
my
systems are no
foot
longer
switch.
remotely accessible. Useful, right?
Normally I use my foot switch for just splitting in games and doing some transcription work that I do on the side. But in this case I decided, no, I'll just set up one key to be the left arrow, one key to be the right arrow, and still have a split button if I need it. And so every puzzle that I complete, I would just smash that foot pedal button and move on to the next puzzle. And so there's a lot of looking back and forth. If you watch my Speedromizer run VOD, you'll see I'm constantly looking down and to the left to see what the next puzzle is. That's just the way I had to do it personally. It was really hard for me to memorize all these puzzles. I find it hard to do that kind of thing. Anyway, like thinking about one of the longest runs, well, okay, I'll talk about 2 long runs that I do. So I know Lagoon, and I know Odalis. Odalis is like an hour and a little bit less than an hour for me now. Lagoon is in the range of an hour 30, hour 45. Odalis, pretty simple puzzles. I just have to remember which way to go on any given screen. There's nothing too intense in terms of memorization. Lagoon, couple of tough spots where you have to remember specific enemy placements and things like that. You know, that's a little harder for me to remember sometimes, but I can still do it. There's so much in this game. There's so many puzzles and so many different ways that you need to move on every single screen. It's just really hard for me to keep track without having a visual aid. So that's just what I had to do personally. Other people will have an easier time memorizing it. That's great for them. It's not what worked out for me, but that's okay.
There are two
I still had a lot of fun
flavors
learning
of
it. It's
emergency
really
services.
satisfying to
Initially,
look at
I
a puzzle
figured that
after
being
doing it for
different
quite a
was
while and
planned,
not getting
but
it and realizing like,
retrospectively,
oh, I
this is
see,
not the
I
case.
see, and I
now
remember what to do now. That's a
One
really
of these
fun
allegedly
feeling.
tastes like mangoes, whatever those are. Bet you can't guess what the other is, though. I'll give you a hint. It spoils when it knows it's being eaten.
I will say I do kind of want to return to this game at some point to get the lore, because we definitely skip over all the lore in this run. We get a little bit of it, but not that much, so I would like to understand a little bit better. As far as memorizing where to go in the ship, that's a much smaller amount of brain space that I need to kind of get organized in my mind in order to remember. There were a lot of points where when I was first learning this, I went to the wrong place all the time. Like I would walk across the ship when I needed to just go up on the second floor or something like that. And so things like that took a little bit getting used to, but that isn't as bad as every single puzzle memorization.
It looks like you're actually getting somewhere. Go team.
Go team.
Every anchor you take
Yes,
down
indeed.
breathes life into my console up here. It's amazing. Currently, the bridge door is sealed off, but I think that if I get enough control back, I just might be able to force it open for you. That way?
So that reset.
Come up here and let me out.
This happened in my Speedromizer run too. I was sitting here like, what am I doing?
Easier
So that
But we
top
can
left
cross that
pillar,
bridge when we get to
with this solution, it barely touches it. So because it barely touches it, if it moves off of it at all, it just doesn't work. And I've never been able to, once it stops working, I've never been able to make it work again. So because of that, once I realized like trying to reverse and try it again just doesn't work, I just decided we're just gonna reset the puzzle if that happens, especially in a no run reset setting. That made a lot of sense. I like this puzzle a lot. I think like the solution here just feels really satisfying for some reason to me. Okay. Yep. Yeah, this is one where I always go the wrong way at the beginning. A benefit of having the puzzle solution images in front of you is that you can kind of tell which way to go at the beginning of a puzzle, but I always forget
Why your hands?
which
Marmalade
way
had similar augmentations to help with
when I
his
forget which way to
engineering
go,
work?
because I
Yours
forget
don't
where
look
you
as heavy
start,
duty as his.
and
Thought that
two,
perhaps
because
you
of
were
that,
a
I end up
scrapper?
kind of wrapping around a pillar the
He
wrong
certainly
way.
dressed like one, but there's nothing to
So
salvage
that it
this far out
happens
from the
sometimes. Not much you
colonies.
can do about it.
Well, I had an arm swapped out, in case you were wondering. My
I was
eyes,
not.
too. I'll admit that the arm was just to get back at my mom or something. Something stupid, I'm sure. I just wanted to drive her crazy. I don't even remember why. My eyes, though, that's a different story. I would never be where I am today without them. That said, maybe I should start regretting those too. Do you want to know why we were all the way out here? The very edge of recorded space? We are Genesis, guiding humanity into a new age to fulfill our potential and alter the trajectory of our species forever. It all begins here, at the edge of the known universe. Those were the lines that got me. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? Sounds great, right? Well, let me tell you what those words really mean. How would you like to travel incomprehensibly far away from everything you've ever known? To assess planets for
So I'm just
habitability,
watching these solutions.
to allow
It's funny watching the run rather than doing
form
it.
new colonies and guide humanity into a new age.
I kind of like these
Sounds
puzzles. They
Right?
when I was first learning this run, I found these puzzles to be kind of tricky. Just looking at the solution, it's kind of not super easy to tell which way to go sometimes. I thought about modifying the solution images.
I mean, why else would you
I ended
wear
up
them,
never
right?
doing that, but I thought about adding like arrows to them to mark, start out this way, then go this way. But I ended up not doing that. Just doing them enough times helped my brain just kind of be able to see the image and then say, ah, right, I go this way first, and then I go this way. So that all seems to come with practice more than anything. My thing is always, you're going to build supports so that you can do things that you reasonably can in the moment, and then when you get better at those things, you can remove those supports. I'm a teacher as well, so I'm a big believer in provide support that makes sense for the student. So for me, as the student in this case, I just needed the images, and just needed to practice using them, and that is ultimately what helped me do it. Memorizing these was not really feasible for the amount of time that I had to learn this run. The Speedromizer gives you quite a bit of time. It's pretty generous in terms of how much time you have to learn your runs before the event, which is great. My personal problem was that a lot of things happened in life. Like I got sick, my wife got sick. We had a lot of that going on. We were dealing with some family stuff with her family and my family. We had some folks who passed. My brother got married. There's just a lot going on. So we ended up just using a lot of time on family stuff, which is fine. It's not like bad. It's just kind of how it is. But it did mean I had less time to learn this run. These jigsaw puzzles, we don't do very many of these, really. We just do this set and then several right at the end, but I think they're a really cool way of having a puzzle set up, where you have to kind of solve a concise set here.
I'm sure. Oh, not that you aren't doing a fantastic job, by the way. Pluto?
So it's at this point in the run, I start getting nervous because I'm real bad at these puzzles.
Now, if you're thinking that
these first few aren't too bad; they're pretty easy. But after this, I start to kind of lose my brain a little bit.
I understand it. There was some sort of mix-up when the Alabaster was assigned to ship Pet. The one we received just happened to be pregnant. I am not a cat person. So the sudden appearance of 400% more cat.
Yeah, this one I think I messed this up here because oh no, this one I get right. Perfect. Never mind. Usually I hit the white guy with the red string by mistake. This one's not. Oh gosh, yeah, that was not so bad. As long as you actually hit the pillar. I like this kind of like sneak through thing that you can do. It is. Where am I going? Oh, okay. Never mind.
Sure, Canary could be a bit abrasive. Although
yeah, finding the pillars after you finish a puzzle are kind of important.
It did take a lot of work.
Yeah, you can see here I like have that moment of like, what do I do?
Pistachio, though?
Pretty common, honestly.
We spent a lot of time together over the last few months. I know she wouldn't have left me here.
I like the kind of slow drip of lore that you get in this. I don't fully understand the lore at all, but I do like the kind of like slow intro to everything. The storytelling's fun, so I appreciate it. Yeah, what are you doing, dude? That's not the way to go. Yeah, these, I wish I had a better way to remember these other than just the image. Because I do very frequently have to think, okay, I move this one, and then I have to think for a second, say, well, maybe I move this one next. It's just, it's not very efficient the way that I think about it as I'm playing it. as you can see, if you bonk on something, you lose a lot of time. You just slow down a ton as soon as you bonk on something. It's pretty not great. Okay. All right. Fortunately, those are done. We won't have multi guys for a while now. I think until we get up to the third floor. These are pretty straightforward. I don't feel too bad about these.
Anyway. You know, we actually threw him a surprise party a few weeks after we arrived. There were decorations and everything. That might not sound like much, but out here, decorations can be a little hard to come by. We had to make them ourselves. I say we. Pistachio took the lead on that. You never believe it from her personality, but damn, Canary can bake! She made this unbelievable chocolate cake. We all had a pretty great time that night. We needed it. Marmalade especially. He wasn't in the best place.
I know that you can do more of the kind of save load stuff that we did early in the run at this point. It does save in game time. Basically any time that you would beat the unlock animation to get to the puzzle, it's faster without loads to just do the save load instead. But again, because I was doing this for an RTA marathon, I was a little bit more concerned with thinking about, you know, what's going to be faster RTA. And I think in general, for most of these, it's faster to just wait for it, you know, especially because waiting for the menus to open up and loading your next file and all that, it takes a chunk of time. So I think in general, if you're playing just for RTA without without load removal, rather, then I think that just doing it just straight through is a little bit faster. I could be wrong on that. I'm sure that if I submit this, I'm sure that someone will correct me and prove me wrong, which is fine. I would appreciate it. I remember thinking at this point, like, yeah, okay, I'm a minute ahead here. I'll save more time along the way, but if we soft lock again, then what's the point? So I was pretty bitter about it. And coming up are some of my least favorite puzzles. I do not like these constellation puzzles. They really mess with my brain. We'll see if we save time here or lose time. I don't know why these would mess with my brain so much, but I just really just can't wrap my head quite around them. Yeah, see, like I'm already kind of stuck.
And again, not a clue as to why. When I told Vermilion about it, he said it sounded like a
but that was a lot faster. Not a gold, but still better.
Whatever that means. Have you ever started
to get
anxious that you're
I caught it.
An embarrassingly simple solution to a problem? I was there. At one point, I found some old comics that
I guess my gold there was just getting it right away. This one I always mess up and go top right before coming down here, which is not correct. It does not work.
Well, you know, kind of.
This one should save some time. Not much, but a little bit. If you save like 1 second on every single puzzle, you're looking at saving like 143 seconds, right? So every puzzle matters. It's really weird to have quite so many splits. Because when you're looking at your overall run, you have to kind of think, okay, when did I lose time? Not in an individual puzzle, but rather in a set of puzzles. So that's been helpful for me in thinking, okay, where can I target my attention? Because if you mess up like one puzzle, it's like, okay, I can practice that one puzzle. That's no big deal. If I mess up a set of puzzles, that means there's something not quite working with the way that I'm thinking about them or doing them overall.
So on the topic of cake, if the ship.
I was very happy
I
to
would start to express
learn
my
this
concern
run
about that.
for
That is
Speedromizer.
to say,
I think Speedromizer is a super cool idea.
Unlike a cake,
A
though,
friend
the ultimate
of
prize will
mine,
be to clean
Solar
up
Cell,
whatever
recommended
mess
it to
Molly
me,
and Aubergine left in the
and then
bridge
did
up
not
there.
submit anything, I think.
Rather than
I don't hold that
shame
against him.
mixed with
I
quick
understand
mental
he's a busy man, so I get it.
I take my chances with the cake, given the choice.
But it was a really cool
Don't worry, some
idea.
fast
Just
food stickers.
everybody submits a run, and you don't play your own game. You have to learn something new, and it's totally random. Very, very fun idea. I like it a lot. We had some folks drop. I know I submitted Odalis and Primal Light, and Odalis got selected, but the runner had to drop. I don't entirely know what happened there. I hope it wasn't an issue of the game is terrible. So I certainly hope that's not the case, but I would understand if someone got Odalis and they were like, you know what, I'm not doing this. Odalis is a great game and I love it, but it is also very much a Vert's game. It is not everybody's cup of tea. Go upstairs, thank you.
I feel so
Let me just
cooped
stand
up
here
in
for a
here.
minute.
I was never one for Vermilion's mandatory workout regime, but I could really go for a run right now. Stretch the legs, you know? The most relentless ache. Oh, nothing like what
I do think the narrator does a good
As
job of
navigator,
kind
it was
of
my job to
drip
check we didn't
feeding
stray too far off course while we
clues
slept.
here.
I had to wake up every few months to keep us on track. This petty ache is nothing compared to what I felt during those course corrections. Never been a morning person, but that gave a whole new meaning to waking up early.
I know Smongo does not like these puzzles very much. I don't mind them. They're definitely not my favorite by any means. I think solving these casually would be not fun. It's you can kind of see the gimmick here. That you have a screen on every one, and you're supposed to use the screen to kind of tell you how to do the solution. But they're all in various states of broken or disrepair or fallen over and covered. This next set I like a lot. You have to keep things balanced. So you touch a blue and a yellow. I like to think of it as touch a certain number of them and then tie it off with the multicolored pillar.
She had this special plant. I should really remember what it was called, as it quickly became the subject of daily conversation. Well, it only flowers something like every 10 years. And this particular plant, it was due to flower on our arrival. She was so excited. She spent all our prep time finding the perfect spot and making sure
it is very satisfying to watch the puzzles be solved. Somebody said that in the Speedromizer chat when I was doing the run. Just that it's really satisfying to see these puzzles solved very quickly. And I agree. I think it's very nice to see it happen. I remember watching a run of this that Bowden had done to learn the run and learn the route in general. I was just like mesmerized watching him do it. Hopefully I get this right. I do not. Yep, thank you. That is correct.
I know what you're thinking. Well, yeah, that's how gravity works. But it's more than that. I don't know. I haven't even told you about the probe yet.
Yeah, so this run is about a month old at this point when I'm doing this voiceover for it. I did not get a PB after this. This is my best at this point. I don't know that I will return to it. I might someday. I think right now I'm kind of done with it. Learned it for Speedromizer, kind of okay with putting it down. A very cool game, and I appreciate it. But it is definitely not my favorite type of speedrun. I was when I was a kid, I was pretty bad at action platformers, if I'm going to be honest. They were not my strong suit, and yet I have found myself. Come on, what are you doing? Okay, yes, that works. Never mind. I thought I was wrong. I have found myself drawn to action platformer speedruns, even though mostly what I played as a kid was JRPGs. I have not yet done a RPG speedrun of any kind. I thought about learning Mystic Quest for a little bit, just have not ever done so. Might be something that I do eventually. This is the first puzzle game that I've ever learned. I have a new appreciation for puzzle game speedruns after doing this, because there's a lot that you have to think about as you're doing it. A lot of different ways of thinking about the puzzles that you're looking at.
So far, all the information we gathered
it's cool stuff. I liked it.
It was exciting.
I do like these puzzles a lot. I think that these are pretty fun.
Someday be humanity's next colony. Well, as per how we do things here, the probe launch did not go to plan. But that's not quite accurate. The launch went fine. It was the landing that left a lot to be desired.
I feel like if you are doing this really well, these voiceover clips just kind of come one right after another.
Was crammed with equipment. There wasn't a
So
piece
this
of
is
data
this
this
is
thing
going
could
okay
collect.
at this point.
But we wanted more than that. We wanted samples. The plan was that once
The thing
the
I would
rover
really
got
need to
on
work
its
on,
surface,
if I were to
we
keep
marked
running this
one end
game,
of
is
this ravine to the other.
swinging
Pistachio chose the
super
location.
wide on
Along
all
its way,
these
it would collect
pillars.
a variety of samples. Once it reached just
I
the
tend to
station,
swing
it would launch a
wide
capsule
to
of
avoid
samples
bonking
orbit
into
for
them,
us to collect.
but
Simple, right?
because of that,
So,
I lose
after
time
launch,
because
until the
I
probe
am
reached the
just
planet's
swinging so
atmosphere,
wide
but
and
instead of slowing down,
losing
it started
time having to
speeding
get
up.
closer to
Just
them.
kept accelerating towards the surface. We couldn't do anything about it. We were sure it was going to crash. And then it just seemed to fall straight through the ground. What's more,
Some
it kept
puzzles I do
going.
better about that. Oh
We
my
lost
gosh.
signal maybe a
Let's go to
minute
the
later.
right spot.
Canary says the heat from entry must have fried its telemetry or something. My guess is that it was doing its best to get away from her.
This one I messed up. I could see
I'm
it
sure
already.
You've been on your fair share of space vessels during your travels. Now, you may have noticed
Yep,
that
there
the
you go.
Alabaster
No,
has
okay,
more origami
no.
swans than
Come
your
on,
average
you can
deep
do
space
it.
vessel. Well, let me demystify you on the matter.
There you
Origami
go.
was one of Pistachio's fondest pastimes.
Yeah, lose a little time there because we had a brain
She
fart.
wasn't half bad.
It's really easy to
Not
just kind
mental
of,
hands probably helped
for
her
me
out.
at least, to kind of just
started
lose the
making all
thread a little bit.
sorts.
Haha, lose
Found
the
swan
thread
to
in
be her
a
favorite.
game where you have a
Finally,
colored thread.
in
Anyway,
most places. She knew we all laughed about it.
this one's
We'd
cool.
given
I like
multiple
this one.
Swans a week, all different sizes and colors. But honestly, that's just Pistachio. Everything she did was in the interest of making us feel good. I miss those swans.
Yeah, I think, like I was saying, if I were to run this again, I would want to work on swinging wide around pillars, but also start including, because I'm not going to be focused on RTA really for marathon purposes. I would rather be focused on, what are you doing, dude? Yeah, okay, I guess, like, I guess that's right. I don't know. Like, looking at the way I did that solution, it doesn't seem right somehow, but I mean, it did it. I don't know. Probably just don't remember it well enough. Anyway, I would need to work on really, again, memorizing more puzzles and making sure, like, just immediately able to move and know where to go. Sometimes the swinging wide is because I am looking at the image instead of at the game screen, so that can cause problems. But the other thing I would need to work on is including more of those save loads so that we can save more time without loads.
She literally just vanished. She wasn't on the ship anymore. All her stuff was still here, while the escape pod's still in the bay. We searched. All we found were the clothes she was wearing on the floor in her lab. And her hands.
I will say I have solved some puzzles by myself without a speedrun guide. I did exactly one set of 3 puzzles in the cockpit by myself. So I am proud of that. But that is maybe all that I'm going to do. I do like the aesthetic of this game. I like the idea of a lot of the puzzles. I'm just not a good puzzle gamer, I think. If it's like a falling block puzzle game like Tetris, that's easy. I can do that all day. But something like this is a bit harder for me.
Then the anomalies started to crop up again, but faster than before. We had to leave. If the timing of the anomalies before was anything more than coincidental, then we were in danger. I've never prepped a ship for long-distance travel so quickly before. Not that it mattered. We were all set to leave, but when we tried, we realized we couldn't escape the planet's gravity. It was like it had somehow gained mass.
This
and every
one
time we
is
put
not
more
good.
power to the engines, the planet would pull back. Only harder. When we realized that we couldn't distance ourselves from the planet, we had
This
an
set is
emergency
really,
meeting with
really
the
hard
captain.
for me,
She
at
was
least.
as reliable as ever. Calm
Come on.
and collected.
Thank you.
Our first instinct was to use the escape pods, as we thought they might be small enough to escape the planet's pull. She told us to hold tight, though. It was her that reminded us where we were. On the frontier.
I would also want to work on, memorizing
Probably escape, but
which
we
robot
likely
to
to
do
use
in which
civilization.
order
No
on these
canister,
puzzles.
minimal
'Cause this
rations,
is a
and no
mess.
cryosleep pods.
Just looking at this, I'm like, oh,
Besides,
please,
if I was
do
wrong,
better.
they couldn't escape the pull either. If we could, we had to keep the alabaster. Aubergine and Marmalade had started work on something as soon as they realized that we were stuck. They pitched it to the captain in that meeting. They called them.
You'll see a lot of golds here.
With the
This
captain's
segment is
permission,
really,
Aubergine
really
and
bad
Marmalade
for me.
began their work developing the anchors.
What is this? What are you
Never
doing?
really stopped to properly explain them to me. Just said that they were designed to block out whatever magic space waves took Pistachio.
Gosh, yeah, that was a mess.
Oh,
and it was
that
still
and
faster
their
than my old PB.
Gotta have them everywhere to go.
That's just kind of how it is with
Canary helped
this
them,
run for me.
running
It's just
around,
kind of a
performing
mess.
tests, advising them on this and that. I couldn't help. No engineer. No scientist.
This one's not too bad.
What
I'm
was I
not sure
supposed to
why
do?
I do it the way that I do
level
it.
with
It's
you.
a little bit
In
unnecessary.
that moment, I didn't want to help them anyway. I just lost Pistachio.
There's fortunately an easy end here. Oh gosh. I say that and then lose 2 seconds to that. Just kind of get knocked about in the doorway.
Panels, vents, furniture. Nothing was safe from those two.
This is the last set of puzzles before the
I was
cockpit
always tripping
area.
over them and then taking
I
them
think it's a
around
pretty cool
whenever
set of
it's
puzzles,
closed.
honestly. I like these a lot.
Fair of me, I know. I was in a bad place. Not proud of how I acted at that time. Soon enough, the anchors were all over the ship, with just one place left to cover. The bridge. That actually meant I could be somewhat useful. I had to pull myself together, sit in the cockpit, and keep tabs on the ship systems. Make sure the anchors were integrating properly.
Yeah, the first like 4 are really easy, and then that 5th one's just kind of like, hey, by the way, this is
The door was
complicated.
already closed when I flipped the switch.
It's kind of cool though.
I sealed my own fate with that one. My whole console flared up and then shorted out. It was bright enough that the terminal keys left an imprint on my vision.
Right.
To make things
So we're
worse,
about 37-ish minutes into the
I tried
run.
running out to the bridge to tell
Have
the
about
others, but the door
a little
wouldn't
less than 20 minutes at this point for
mashing
this
the release
PB.
button. Nothing happened.
Overall, I think I did pretty
Really
well
felt
with this one.
moving forward,
There's definitely a lot of movement
Had
stuff
to
I need to
calm
keep
down.
working on,
Slow my breathing.
making sure that I'm not
Took Vermilion yelling
kind of
through the
swinging
door to
too
finally
wide
get my
and
head
not
back.
pausing too much on each level. But overall, I feel pretty good about the progress that I made with this game. In honestly a pretty short amount of time. I didn't really start learning this run for Speedromizer until September, I think. It might have been mid-August rather. But I was, I think I mentioned earlier, I was sick for a while. My wife went to a work conference and came back, of course, with COVID. So she was sick. I was taking care of her. She got better. I got sick, and then it just kind of continued from there. And then we just had a lot of kind of personal life stuff going on that has made it hard to make time for this kind of thing.
The door
But,
opened from the outside, and I wasn't
when
able
I
to reverse
did
the
this
effect of the
PB,
anchors from here.
I decided I was gonna do it as just mic off because of some troubles that I had with it. And, then
after a few days,
do a voiceover for it if I deemed it important enough to do so. And I figure I'm gonna submit this, and
things
might
were
as well
getting
give the folks who have to watch it something to listen to as they do so. Hi. You might hear my kitten coming in here. That's another thing that made it a little bit hard to take time for speedruns. Got a new kitten. Hi. Always has quite a bit to say. He's a sweet boy. That was something we got him in, I want to say June. Yeah, I think it was June. And he's just been a sweet, good addition to our lives, but definitely does take up time. I had to take him to the vet, get him fixed, continue taking him to the vet for shots and stuff, but he's a sweet boy. I'm very, very lucky that we got him, and he's a good boy, so I'm happy we have him. My wife pulled him out of a bush. Alright, so we could get into the cockpit, says our navigator friend here.
I'd say you can get into the bridge now. Woo! Sorry, I can't help it. It's all so exciting! Let's go. If you get yourself to the bridge door, we should be able to get this thing open. Huh?
Once she says, huh, you can do the save load, switch files once, twice. You go back to your file, and then you select your file to continue faster. Basically, it just puts you at a preset point, I think. And so the preset point for being in the area that we were in is down here. And you need that voiceover to start. Yeah, 111. 9.
12.
12, okay. Yeah, I think I realized pretty quickly, like, okay, things are moving in the right directions here. So I can just kind of let them be for a little bit. Oh, come on. It doesn't matter what order you touch these in, it more matters, oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I got super lucky with that. Holy cow. Just happened to touch both.
By the corner and...
Man, it's pretty amazing.
What the?
Yeah, if you don't know how to read a clock, then you're kind of in trouble. Well, lore update here. Our navigator friend's been telling us about all her buddies who set up these puzzles and anchors to fix the ship, and then locked her in the cockpit by mistake, and then tried to get her out, but then they left, seemingly. But maybe they did not leave because everything blew up in here. So very, very somber moment. Music changes to be very sad. Kind of keep that tone through the rest of the game. Right, and now we are on the bridge. Called it the cockpit earlier. That's not quite right. This is a flashing light area. If you're photosensitive, please don't watch this part. It is not great. But I think I do this right the first time. I do. I've messed this puzzle up so many times. The next puzzle in this set is extra bright, flashy lights. So I'm sorry for that. This is a spot where you might do save load, just to make it a bit faster.
Clearly a smart guy. Could have made it big on one of the colonies, you know?
I think if I were to learn those and their locations a bit better, I would probably need to just change my split names and just add save load before the name of each one. Because otherwise I will not remember.
You don't have a family, do you?
These puzzles are extremely disorienting because the pillars that you touch don't always activate right away. I think we touch a couple in here that just like don't turn on. Or no, I guess the last one had that. Maybe this one does not. I don't remember at this point. Yeah, you're going the right way, dude. Come on.
How can you you still
All right, thankfully that's done. I like these. All the puzzles in here are basically combinations of other puzzles, and this combines two of my favorites. I don't really like the color path puzzles as much, so anytime I run into those, I'm like, oh no. But we got some cool ones in this cockpit anyway.
Wish I could say the same.
Yeah, thinking about time left in this run, about 12 minutes. A little less than that. That always freaks me out. Like, you're going to touch the black pillar, don't do it. This next set is for me pretty hard. These are very big puzzles compared with some of the others. So it's just like very, very wide and tall. You know, depending on the puzzle. I guess they're all tall rather than wide. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But you know, they like this move right here. See, like I still mess it up because I need to go down first here. So like just the number of steps here is kind of overwhelming. It just kind of messes with my brain. Don't know entirely why. It's just something it's kind of hard for me. It's kind of how it is, I guess. I will say I'm glad I'm pretty sure I got through this set of puzzles without issue in my Speedromizer run. So I'll be honest, I thought, and I'm gonna double check this right now, I thought that my estimate for Speedromizer was I thought that it was an hour. And then the day before my run, I was looking at the schedule, and the estimate said 55 minutes. And I was like, well, I have not gotten a 55-minute run ever, so I know that's not going to happen. Because I thought that the estimate was an hour. So after I had this run, obviously, but even the one before this run, I would have finished in less than an hour if it didn't soft lock. And I ended up not finishing that one anyway, but it would have been less than an hour. So it was, you know, I was a little bit surprised looking at the Speedromizer schedule and being like, oh, did I mess it up? Because I did not think that I did. It is very possible that I did. I don't think so, though. I just don't remember for sure. I'm pretty sure that it was set for an hour initially, but I might just be misremembering. So, I don't know, not blaming anybody on the staff or anything, just something that I thought was funny where I looked at the schedule and said, oh crap, I'm definitely not ready for this then. I kind of messed up. You know, and it doesn't really matter. Like, it worked out fine. We were running a little bit late the day of the run itself, and then we had some tech problems with my setup that eventually we solved, but it definitely took some time and slowed us down a little bit. But that's just how it goes sometimes. So I'm going to take a look at the Owengus account here and kind of see. Let's see. Filament. It was actually 55 minutes. I just thought it was an hour. I don't know why now. But I just thought it was. So that's my bad, actually. Sorry, Speedromizer folks. I was like, alright, I'm good. Once I got sub-hour, I was like, sweet, I don't have to worry. I got consistently sub-hour. It's like, sick, I don't have to worry about it. Dang, I would have grinded more if I had actually realized that. Now I feel bad. So yeah, that's on me. That's not on them. So, oh well. It was, I got close. I think that my run was, yeah, you got it, man, come on. I think my run was 57 something, so you know, it was a little bit slower than I would have liked, but you know, I still felt okay about it overall. I'm very glad I got this without mess ups this time. This puzzle's really hard for me. I feel so lost. I love this walk. I don't know why it does that. It's just really funny. Yeah, even there, you know, if you've been keeping track of the live split during this run, you know, if you have bothered to watch this entire thing, honestly, I don't expect many people to. This is more just a exercise for my own benefit, to practice talking about what I do. But if you've been watching the live split, you'll have seen that there were times where it went very, very quickly down, where I was gaining a ton of time on myself, and then there are times where it's you know, a couple of seconds. Like, you know, in the colored screens, just looking at the first 3 of those, we went from the first one we finished 341 ahead, and then we finished the last one 402 ahead. So we just saved a ton of time there, but this set we're only saving like a couple of seconds, which, you know, is fine. I'm not too worried about it. I feel pretty good about, you know, so the big time saves are nice. I think the smaller, what are you doing? This is not correct. The smaller time saves, I think, you know, are as important as the really big time saves. You get really small time saves every single puzzle. It adds up in the end. This is the last set of real puzzles. I think there are 180 some, 190 some, I don't know. A large number of puzzles. So yeah, I'm pretty glad that I ran this game, but I'm also pretty glad to be done with it. I enjoyed learning how to play it. I enjoyed learning the speedrun. I am also kind of mentally done with it. It was very fun. It's just not my kind of game, but it was a good challenge. So I'm glad I tried it and figured it out. Come on, there you go. I don't know, that would make too much of a difference, actually. Just kind of wrap around it the other way. Yeah, I do want to thank Bowden for submitting it. It was fun to learn it. I'm glad I did. And, you know, maybe someday I come back to it when I feel the need to. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Got a lot of other projects that I want to work on, both speedrun and not. I would like to get back to Lagoon. It's been a long time since I've been saying, like, oh, I want to go back to that. Even I think I started saying that, you know, at the beginning of the summer this year, and it's October, and I have not touched that game at all. But I would like to. I would like to play Lagoon again and just kind of see what I can do to improve my time.
You're just a step away. You know,
also,
I don't know whether I'm ready to meet you yet.
So this is where the soft lock can happen. You finish this puzzle, and if the wall is already open when you finish the puzzle, you are soft locked. Well, hard locked, really. Like, you don't have any control. You can still quit out of it.
Prepare myself for what comes next.
That's the only thing you can do at that point. And that loses some time. All right, now we get the big reveal that our friend here that we've made is fake.
All right.
It's a phony.
This was always going to be difficult. I don't know why you had to do this. What were you thinking? Boarding a filament ship like that? If you just minded your own business. I tried, you know. They're always watching me, but I tried. Now here we are. I had to do this. You understand that, right?
I'm not convinced that you did.
Now I'm out of options. It's not up to me anymore. I have to go now. Goodbye, Pluto.
So, as I always say when I do this run live, at this point, it's all about going the right direction. And usually, whenever I say that, I go the wrong direction. So I stopped saying that at a certain point. But I'll say it in the recording, and then we'll see if I go the right way. Obviously, I did not. I did go the right. Okay, good. You go right first. Yeah, this part is weird. You have to remember how to get to your ship, and the first, I think maybe not the first run, but the second run that I did of this, when I just completely forgot where it was, and so I ran to the right. I ran all the way up here. I could not find this door on the left because it is not well marked. It is very, very hard to see, and so you just kind of wander around in this like shaky cam area. It's just miserable. And of course, you get the obligatory puzzle game obtuse ending that everyone will have different theories about. No one actually knows what happened because it's a puzzle game. No one is supposed to know. So, yeah, that is my 56:29 RTA. We'll see the time without loads once we get to the end. But yeah, if you have gotten through this whole video of solid 55 minutes of me blathering on about this puzzle game and my speed runs and just random chatter about things in the world and life and my cats, thank you. I appreciate it. I do a lot of speed runs. I try to do a wide range of things and learn a couple every year, just to kind of keep the spice of life active, all that good stuff. So Speedromizer was great for that. I'm very glad that I picked it up. If you're watching this around the time that I will publish it, which will be mid-October in 2022, I'm going to be learning, whenever it releases, I'll be learning Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. And I'm very excited for that. The demo that we played was great, and I am very confident that I will not be the top of the leaderboard based on how I explain it, but I'm very excited to be playing it anyway. All right, 51:47 without loads. That feels all right. Still not sub 55. Sorry for that, Speedromizer folks. But yeah, I appreciate this game. I was very glad to learn it. Glad to. I'm happy with what I did with it, even though I think I could push it a bit further. But I think for now I'm okay. So I'm gonna shut up now and let the credits play and wish you all a good rest of your day.